Hey y'all, welcome back to Trendy DIY 29. I just wanted to show you guys my garden that I started. Almost everything here was started from seed. Right now it's in my dining room, so excuse that, but I wanted to show you guys exactly how I grew these, tell you a little bit about each plant, and hopefully I can make a series out of this. So the first plant right here I have some collard greens growing. As you can see, they're very healthy because you can see how strong their stalk is. They're standing up. The only thing about starting indoors is that your plants will tend to lean and sway and grow towards the light. So keep that in mind. So you want to make sure that you rotate them, or you will end up with something like this. And I'll show you what happened to my cucumber that I didn't rotate. Right here is my cucumber plant that I started from seed. And I don't know if you guys can really tell, but it's leaning towards that light up there. So it's leaning towards there, and there goes the other one that started. But that's what'll happen. But only you can stop that. There goes my cat. He likes to sniff around. But you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4 collard greens growing. I got these from Lowe's, but I also started some from scratch, from seed. And I just want to show you guys that you can grow anything. I'm doing full container gardening because that's all I've ever known. I've always grown out of containers, and it's always worked out right. So I was like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Even though now I have a yard, I could plant in ground, but since I don't, since I am the type of person that, I might want to move them, I might have, like, I do live in zone 7, so sometimes it might get really cold or something like that, and I might want to take the plants in. So I just like planting in containers because it gives you a lot more control, because once you put them out in your garden in the ground, it's kind of like done. So keep that in mind. Now, container gardening is a little bit more expensive just because you have to buy a lot of the containers, the stakes and stuff like that. But you would need stakes anyway, even if you were growing in the ground. But right here, we have my lemon thyme, as you guys can see, which I did get at Lowe's, but it was nowhere near crazy like this. It was a small plant. Now, one thing that I've learned about thyme is that you usually have 2 different types that you'll be able to find easily, relatively easily, that started already for you if you don't feel comfortable with starting from seed. Is that you'll find the lemon thyme, and then you'll find right here the German thyme. Now you can see there's nothing back there because I had to pull it. It died. And that's usually what happens with the German thyme for me. Thyme tends to not like wet soil. So you want to make sure, and you see, like, I like to plant them together. Rosemary is kind of like indestructible almost. It's one of those plants that grows so well, and you will get a lot of rosemary. So you don't need, I've learned that when it comes to particular herbs, you do not need to plant a lot of them because you will get a lot and you'll end up with way more than you can use. So, but just look how thick. This may look like the plants over here, but this is growth. This is all new growth. Because if you see, the plant is not even in the ground right there. This is all the new growth. We got tangled, but you see all of this is in new growth. And I wish we had like smell-o-vision so you guys could smell this. But, and you see how it grows out. It's growing towards the light, because you guys can see I have lights up there. And you're going to need a very strong light. I think that one I got from Walmart, that long white one, was, I want to say, like $20, $25. And I want to say it's 4,000 lumens. You want something in between like 3,000 and 6,000 lumens for when you're seed starting indoors. And you want to do something that's like LED, because if anything else, it can get hot and it'll burn your plant. So don't use regular light bulbs. Invest in LED. And this is what I call my I'm not sure, because I did film a video about me starting these seeds. I'm going to upload it so you guys can check that out. But it has a lot of editing to do. That's why I haven't uploaded it yet. But this right here, I don't know if you can tell. I started this from seed to me, and then I dropped them. Like, literally, I started all of them in the little peat pots. And I literally dropped them when I was transferring them to the grow table, right? Which is up there, the grow table with the lights. And so basically, long story short, I dropped it and all of the pods went all over the kitchen. Picked them up, had no idea, because remember, I just put seeds in them. I had no idea what was what anymore. And I had them completely in order. I had made a table to remember what they were. I had everything organized and smart, and then I dropped them. So, like, a lot of stuff is growing, and I'm pretty good with identifying plants, but they have to be a certain size. Certain plants look alike. But right here, if you see them, this one to me, it looks like it's probably a kale. It looks like it's probably a kale. And as you can see, there's 2 kale plants. One right there and then one right here. They're probably too close together. I'm going to probably pull the other kale, the smaller one, and plant it somewhere else. But haven't got around to that yet. And right here, I'm so proud of it. Right here is my hybrid summer squash. And as you can see, it's growing good. It's growing good. It's getting its true leaves now in the middle. Because you know when you get your plant, it'll grow the first 2 leaves, and then the next 2 leaves are its true leaves, and it'll shed the other 2. So that's the hybrid squash. You can see you got some nice height on it. All of these were started March 29th. Besides the ones that I brought. All these were started from seed March 29th. I did use a heating pad and I did use grow lights. So I sped up the process, the germination process. Right here is a big beefsteak hybrid tomato. I cannot wait. Like when I mean I can't wait, I cannot wait to see the beefsteak. Because I know they get giant. So this is a first for me with the beefsteak tomatoes. I usually grow more of the cherry type tomatoes because I used to grow on like a smaller patio, but now that I have a bigger yard, it's not nothing gigantic, but it's bigger than a patio, so I wanted to test out some bigger varieties. So right here, that's the big beef hybrid, and I'll show you guys, turn it around. They're sitting on tiles right now because it was raining, so I took them inside. And this is the beefsteak tomato plant. It's doing very well. Look how green it is. Now, when you start plants inside, it is very, very important that you start it's very, very important that you start to, once they're about 2 to 4 inches high, you want to start taking them outside for about 2 hours. Me, I like to take them out for about 5 hours, but that's just me. But most people say 2 hours, so do 2 hours. And just take them out and let them get used to, letting the wind blow them. You see now it's kind of strong, but at first it's weak. When you grow indoors, you don't really grow strong plants because your plants don't have to really put up any defense because there's no wind, there's no rain, there's no, insects and stuff like that. So your plants can be weak, which means that if you don't let them, it's called acclimating them to the outside. If you don't do that, so what happens is that you will take your tomato plant once you grew it in the house and like, oh, I can't wait, I'm about to put it outside, it's warm enough. And then like the first windstorm, it would literally snap your plant in half. It wouldn't be able to deal with wind because it's never had to deal with it. So you just want to get it acclimated and used to it. So I say take it out for about 2 to 5 hours a day. And you're going to do that for about 2 to 4 weeks before you put it outside. So I do it for about 2 weeks. I'm sorry, not 4 weeks. It's 2 weeks before you put it outside. And you can see this one is leaning, as you can tell, is leaning towards the light. But I'll fix that. I'm going to rotate it. Sorry, guys. It's so much stuff. Here goes my rosemary. And as you can tell, rosemary grows really good. It has a very woody stem. So right now it's still somewhat pliable, but once it gets somewhat big, it'll have a very woody stem. Kylo, there's nothing in here. I'm actually growing him some cat grass, but it's not grown yet. So he will be having his own cat grass. Over here, it's hard for me to get into it, but over here, guys, I have show you. My patio hybrid tomatoes. I love these tomatoes. This is a plant that I got started already at Lowe's They're usually about like 3.98, 2.98, something like that. And the patio hybrid tomato, which is a determinate, which means it does not come back. It does not come back every year. I mean, not that. I'm sorry, guys. It means that it, my cat is like sidetracking me right now. But since it's a determinate variety of tomatoes, it means that it gets to a determined size. So it's going to only get but so tall and bear but so much fruit. So keep that in mind. So if you have a smaller space, make sure that you're picking determinate tomatoes and not getting indeterminate. Because if you get indeterminate tomatoes, that means that it has an indeterminate amount of growth. So it could get 6 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet, 12 feet. Who knows? Like as long as it's healthy, it's going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And then you might end up with like literally a tomato taking over your whole entire backyard. I've seen it. So that's the reason why you see I have my bigger variety by itself and I have a cage around it to try to contain it. I'm going to put in some bamboo skewers, bamboo poles in order to, so that when the plant grows tall, bamboo, you always want to put like a bamboo skewer right here, close to the stem when it's smaller. Don't wait till it's big because you're going to damage the roots. Always put in your cages. Like you see this, I got this for like the dollar store, like $1. And I like it because these little clamp pieces, you could actually use pliers and ply them off and make them the size that you need, and they cut easy with wire hangers. So that's what I got. And then as these get tall, because they're patio tomatoes, to me, when I grow them, to me, I've noticed they usually only get about 3 feet tall at the tallest. People say they get 2 to 4 feet. Mine usually only get 2 to 3 feet. But also, remember, when you're dealing with plants, period, your plants are only going to get as big as the container will allow its roots to get. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you're growing, say you're growing something big, like, say if you want to grow a whole head of cabbage or something, right? Which is not hard to do. Like growing head vegetables, like head cabbages, head lettuces, is something that's really easy and they actually come back really fast. So you can harvest them and they grow very abundantly. So, I'm sorry guys, you see my little bath bomb. I was making bath bombs over there, but yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind about that. And these are just, let me show you guys some beautiful Easter lilies that I got from, believe it or not, the grocery store. It's like literally, it was like the day after Easter. These were like $2, and look how beautiful and big these plants are. And I got 3 of them. So I got 3 of these big Easter lily plants for $6. And you can see some of them haven't even opened yet, but they smell so good that I'm working on finding a way to like extract the scent, because I want to make this into like some type of lotion or body oil. But look how beautiful that is. And I got, like I told you guys, I got 3 of these. Both were $2. All 3 of them were $2 a piece. So let me move over here. Let me move my table. Like literally the plants is taking over my house. It's into my living room, my dining room, everything. So show you guys some more stuff. Right here, I'm so proud. This is a tomato that I planted myself from the seed. You see the size, that container I have it in, right? So remember that as big as you want it. If you're growing something that says like these big beef steaks, you can see the container I got it in. Nice size container for the beef steaks. The bigger the container, it's probably the bigger your vegetables can get, but isn't it adorable? And he's been outside a few times, so his little body is getting strong. But you can see he's leaning to the left because that's where the light is. See? Right here. It's amazing that these were started March 29th. Like, a lot of these were started March 29th. This is amazing. I love these. These right here. Take a great guess. These are sugar snap peas. Now, what I did was, each one that I grew about... dropped 2 seeds in each pod. I did not start my plants in these big containers. I started my plants in the little small round Jiffy Peat containers that you expand with water. And I started them in there, and then I transferred them once they were about 2 to 3 inches tall. Because you want to get them into their homes fast, because sugar snap peas are one vegetable that when you plant them, if you're going to you know, start them indoors or something, or start them in a cup, you need to be very careful when you plant them into their original home or their original pot where they're going to stay, because they don't like their roots messed with. So they will die if you mess with them too much. So make sure that as soon as you see them get about 2 inches tall, put them in their home so you ain't got to worry about it. But right here, I'm trying to show you guys, these are two plants right here. They're very close together. And the thing is, sugar snap peas, they grow well together. So don't worry about it. You can put, I've been told you can put up to 8 plants in one, but I didn't want to do that many, so I did 4. They're very close together. So I was thinking about maybe taking one of them and taking one of each of these and pulling them out and then replanting them down here to break them apart. It's just that they don't like their roots messed with, so I'm scared to do that. But these are the sugar snap peas. And I have a trellis that I got outside. And when they get tall enough, I'm going to train these. Because right here, these are like hands. These little things right here, I forget what you call them, but they're like hands. And what happens is when they get taller, they'll start to grab and reach for stuff. And eventually, when it gets a pole, it'll like loop around the pole. And then it'll start to like grow around it, you know. So that's the sugar snaps. These I'm so proud of. You talk about instant, if you want instant gratification, because waiting for stuff to plant can be a nuisance. Right here I have some, I want to make sure that I tell you guys the right thing. Okay. And this is just a plastic container that I just found in my house. This one does not have holes in it, but make sure you put holes in all of them. I just didn't want to put holes in it because this is the type of plastic that's really hard, so it probably was going to crack it. So I just have to watch this one better because you want drainage. You don't want your roots sitting in water or you'll get blossom end rot, which is usually when your food will have like a rotten patches or dark spots on it. You don't want that. But instant gratification plant, back to that. These right here are radishes. I normally don't eat radishes that much in my diet, but they're good for you. And there's a lot of neat recipes on YouTube that made me say, okay, I wanted to try it. And then on top of that, radishes are one of the plants that grow the fastest. So if you want something that's like, I want to hurry up and just grow something just to see if I have a green thumb or not, choose radishes. This is a cherry bell radish. I wish I had my thing. I would show you guys, but I don't have my seeds down here. It's upstairs. But this is a cherry bell radish. And you guys see, look how healthy these leaves are. And you can see when I move my hands, they're very sturdy. You see that? And you look down here and you can see that they're red. These are where I'm going to pour the radishes up out of the ground. But I don't think they're not done yet. It hasn't been 21 days, but these are radishes on this side. And then on this side, because this was just me testing out some stuff. And on this side, I have a gourmet lettuce blend. As you guys can see, it's like some red lettuce and different kinds of red lettuce. And I think this has, say, some romaine and some spinach and stuff like that. So I probably won't eat this until the leaves get bigger. But this is probably just going to be enough for like one salad. Because it's like for the gourmet baby lettuce. So it's not going to get so big. And like I said, these are my Sumter cucumbers. And as you guys can see now, how it's leaning. And that one's leaning too to go. But you can see it's starting to get its true leaf. It has one true leaf right here. And these were the two only leaves for the longest. But if you look very, very close, you can see it's getting another leaf. So, believe it or not, once your plants get a certain size, I say once my plants get about 6-8 inches tall, they're gonna really start to grow fast. Like, it takes a little while in the beginning, but you'll start to see like growth overnight. Now this is the amazing part. These are like, all of these were planted from seeds in the peat pots. Let me move my light. Let me see if I can balance it on these two. I don't want to break my light. Okay. So I have it balanced on there. So everybody can get some light. Now, they'll probably move back over and straighten themselves up. But let me get my light so you guys can see. Let me take this off. I got my little light so you guys can see. But these are what I started. And look at this. I started these all in peat pots. Some of them, the bigger vegetables, you don't want to start in peat pots. You want to start those in like styrofoam cups. But let me show you guys real quick. I'm trying to find a place to like rest this. Okay. What we got in here. Lighting is terrible. But right in here, I have, isn't that adorable? This is some red Russian kale. You can see it's like, oh guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to get some better lighting for you guys. This is the red Russian kale. You can see the roots are red. And I planted, I just went like crazy. I think I did like 55 plants. You can see this one's ready. That's how you know it's about to be ready to go into its home because the roots are coming through. And you just drop this, put this whole thing into the ground. Okay. Right here. These are adorable. Little baby basils. And it smells so strong. For saying it's this small, the smell is like strong. And like here goes another crazy one. This is the same thing, the Russian kale. I have a lot of those. Here goes my romaine lettuce. As you guys can see, it's small, but you put it in a pot like about, I don't know, I say like a 1 gallon pot or something. You're gonna have a big head of lettuce in no time. And as you guys can see, I have quite a few of the romaines down here. I think I got like 5 of these. Quite a few of the cabbages. I mean the kale. And this right here are collard greens that I grew from scratch, from seed. And these are, they look beautiful. And you see how those ones look. They'll be looking like that in no time, but that's the little one if you want to do comparison. So you can see I have a few of the collard greens right here, and they're doing very well. And I have some Homestead tomatoes, which is a full-size tomato. And you can see it's doing pretty good. And you know when it's a tomato because you can smell it. It has a really good smell, so even though I dropped them, I know that these are tomatoes. You can see I have 2 plants growing in here. And I'm probably going to separate some of these plants. Some of them may die because they are kind of big. If you're going to separate them, you want to separate them a little bit early. Or like when you plant 2 seeds into 1 pellet, you do that just to make sure that if one doesn't germinate and grow, at least you have a second chance. And right here, this is my mesclun greens. Now look at those. Look at that. And you can see like my little baby greens. Mesclun greens and black seeded lettuce. So right here is black seeded lettuce. Right there is black seeded lettuce, which is going to get nice and beautiful. And then down here, this is like the gourmet lettuce blend. You can see we have like some of that, it looks like red kale again. We have some spinach. We have some romaine. And that's just my salad blend. And then in the very back, I wasn't sure if there's going to be enough space, but I just wanted to test it out. To just test and play around. You have to play around to figure out like how much you can plant and what. Or like how small or how big you need. Right here in the back, these are my carrots. The row right here in the back. These are rainbow carrots. I'm so excited. And carrots tend to take a little while. And most people say only plant things that are actually expensive in the grocery store so you're not like wasting your time and resources planting all of this stuff, and then it turns out to be what do you call it? They say, and then it turns out that it doesn't grow right, and then carrots are like one of the cheapest vegetables in a grocery store, so why waste your time? I'm planting these because I can't find rainbow carrots. I haven't seen rainbow carrots, so it's a different type of carrot, so I'm planting those. But root vegetables are always fun because you get to like pull them out the ground. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, and down here, back over here, you see I have another tomato back here. That's another Homestead. The other day, I actually brought a purple tomato blend and a, it was a different type of tomato. I can't remember. But yeah, I didn't start those yet though, because I have like too many tomato plants. Like right now, I have a lot. And with the health stuff going on around the world right now, and every state, you know, it's hard to really sell, because I would have like a little plant sale and sell some of these, but I can't. Here are my peppers. I'm not sure because I had planted cayenne peppers and I planted jalapeno peppers and then I planted mixed bell peppers, so all different colors. So not sure which one is which yet, but once they get a certain size, I'll know. But peppers do pretty good. You can plant about two peppers together. They'll do good. No more than 3 though. And you can do that in like a 5-gallon bucket, which is probably where I'm going to put these peppers at, a 5-gallon bucket. And then right here, guys see, this is giant noble spinach. It's supposed to get big, like really big spinach, but I started that from seed too, as you guys can see. And that is going to be giant noble spinach. And this is about ready to go in its home, in its permanent home. And my favorite, most proud thing ever is watermelon. I wanted to plant fruit. Most people don't plant fruit because fruit can tend to take up a lot of space, and fruit can tend to, you know, take a lot more care. But I was like, okay, what fruit can I grow that it's good enough that I can like grow it and get a nice amount out of it, but it's not going to be like, you know, too much work or, you know, take up too much of my yard, since I am doing like container gardening. And I found out about something called a sugar baby watermelon, and they're adorable. And right here I have 2 sugar baby watermelon plants. I started these from seeds, and as you can see, they already started. I have 2 of them. They're completely separated, which is great. So their roots probably haven't started getting too entangled together, so I'll be able to break them apart. So I'm going to have 2 watermelon plants. And I did go out and buy a pretty large container for that. I want to say the container I brought was like a 17-gallon or 16-gallon container, something like that. Because, you know, watermelons, they're going to vine out and be all over the place. This right here is, I love poppy flowers. I think they're like one of the most prettiest poppy flowers. But poppy flowers take forever to grow. When I mean forever, they take a really very long time. Like they could take like 100 days. So I was like, let me start some poppy flowers. And there you go. I have like 1 spark so far. Just 1. So let's see how that's going to work. But I plan on sprinkling some more throughout my garden. And then these are some things back here that never grew. Like the Bibb lettuce didn't germinate. This grand bell pepper didn't germinate. But I have all of these peppers. All of these tomatoes. These are going to be hid lettuces, hid collard greens. And these are hid kales. And I also have some cabbage, but I can't figure out which one is the cabbage yet. Because like I said, I dropped them. And here goes a bigger one of the basil. And basil is a really good companion plant, which is basically putting plants that help each other out, growing those together so that it's kind of like a yin and yang factor. So a good companion plant, basil and tomatoes go wonderful together. Of course, they even taste wonderful together. So you can put like plant basil at the bottom of your tomato plants if you like. I've even been told that planting basil at the bottom of your tomato plant can actually work as like a rodent repeller. So if you live in a city or close to a city like I do, and you're scared of like rats or mice or anything like that messing with your garden, you can try companion planting. I have marigolds growing with some of my tomatoes as well, like down here. You can see those 2 little green pieces in the middle. Those are marigolds that I have planted in the middle of my patio tomatoes. And I'm also gonna be planting some onions and potatoes And I'll show you guys that real quick because I brought the seed pods. That's my little craft area, guys. Sorry. But these are the seed potatoes. And you just plant these. And they're like literally like whole potatoes in here with the eyes on it. And you like plant these under the ground. And they give you 6 of them. And then here, guys, they have the onions. And this one has the, sorry guys, the Red Baron, the Snowball, and the Studegarda. And they have 100 onions in here. And they're like really tiny little baby onions. And you plant these as well. So that's a little tour of my little garden kit. I do have some other things as well. I'll show you guys real quick. Because I didn't want this video to go this long. But I have some peppermint, which is really good to repel rodents and things like that. So I got, because I really don't want to lose my stuff to pests. So we have the, trying to show you guys better, the peppermint, which smells amazing. And I'm going to plant this peppermint, break it apart, and I'm going to plant it, break it apart, and like make probably like 2 plants out of this one. And I'm going to put little pots of peppermint throughout my garden as well, because this will keep away certain rodents and insects. Right here, I have some spearmint. These were brought because I did seed start some peppermint and it just did not grow for some reason. Or maybe it did grow and I just haven't noticed that one of these are peppermint yet. But this is some spearmint that I'm going to put around the garden as well. And another thing that's really good for keeping out like pests and rodents too, believe it or not, is lavender. Let me show you guys under here. The light. This is my lavender. Isn't it beautiful? And it is springing up flowers everywhere. Like I just got it. It didn't really have hardly any on it, but it is growing. And I literally have like 4 lavender plants. And I'm going to look and see if you can break lavender up. But here goes another lavender that I got. And I have one in my kitchen in the windowsill, which is growing rapidly. Like it's doing very, very well, but I had that one first. But thank you guys for checking out my channel. And thank you guys for checking out my garden. If you guys have any questions about growing anything or how to start a container garden inside of, it doesn't matter where you live, an urban area, a balcony, just let me know. I can answer your questions to the best of my abilities. No, I do not think that I am a professional, but I do know somewhat of a lot about plants. So get back at to me, guys, and leave me a message in the comments. And thank you for watching Trendy DIY.